art camp after 10th grade, I painted a duck. It was only the second painting that I had done there, and I took my paints, palette, canvas, easel, brushes, and rinsing water over to the pond. The duck was sitting in a spray of grass with at least 6 ducklings nestled in around her chest. She sat still as I outlined her carefully with the faintest yellow acrylic, and every one of her ducklings posed like a tiny statue. Just as I dipped my brush into darker paint, she and her brood leapt up and splashed straight into the algal muck nearby. For the next 2 hours, I chased her back and forth along the perimeter of the pond. Only one brush, my canvas, and a dripping palette in my hands. I didn't have time to rinse my brush in between strokes, but dipped it haphazardly into the ambiguously colored mush of paint. Nonetheless, this is my best painting of a duck, and in fact, the best painting I've ever done. For the rest of the summer, and occasionally back at school, I would try and recreate the feeling of painting that duck. I tried painting without rinsing my brush, painting moving creatures, painting on sunny days. To no avail. It never came. Practice should make perfect, and it seems logical that a pathway that had worked once would lead along the same route again. But it is never as simple as I wish it was. Whether it is painting, or writing school essays, or coming up with chapters of a story, or comforting myself when I'm in distress, I always feel as though I'm reliving the same sort of scene. It begins at its highest point of confidence, positive that I will be able to repeat something that I have done before. Slowly, this confidence wanes. What is a brush, and how do I use it? How did I get there last time? Where's the rule book? I try to close read what went right, as if I were in a Commonwealth English class. Was the amount of water I mixed in with the brown right? If I mix some purple with the yellow, will the beak come out right? What is the meaning of life? I wonder if I really did get it right the first time at all. Ducky, ducky, here, ducky, ducky, shoot. Sometimes, after I resigned myself to never reaching that destination again, I reached it. Rinse and repeat. It is very comforting to look backwards and see that what has happened before, it has happened before in one way or another, and then to look forward and figure that it might work the same way again. Einstein supposedly said, Miss Haber once told me, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. Actually, there is no way to prove that the future will work like the past has done, so it is a leap of faith to look at things that way. At campus preview weekend at MIT this past spring, I caught myself thinking of the first floor girls' bathroom at Commonwealth. Back when it was dingy yellow with peeling paint, a flickering ceiling light, and a lock that was hard to close. That bathroom is my strongest, most visceral memory from the Commonwealth open house when I was thinking of applying, because I hid there, safely away from the bustle of parents and teachers and prospective students and current students who had all somehow managed to wedge themselves into the 2 conjoined brownstones. Afterwards, I told my parents I would never apply to that school. For a long time, I looked back on my distress at the open house as ridiculous. Ha ha! Wasn't I so funny in 8th grade? 4 years later, however, I felt the exact same sort of distress when confronted with a new set of future classmates. Next year, I will be in a freshman class of over 1,000 students, but until campus preview weekend, 1,000 was just a 1 with 3 zeros trailing oddly behind it. Then 1,000 really hit me in the stomach. I went to an event where we were all gathered together in a gym many times the size of our Kappa gymnatorium, not only filling bleachers, but also rows and rows of chairs. I wanted nothing more than a bathroom to hide in, even one with a flickering fan and an unreliable lock. There's something uniquely unpleasant about new beginnings, I think. There's that strange feeling of déjà vu. The worst part of starting again is the again. It is as if, having traveled 4 years forward, we've all been launched 4 years back instead. We are about to be asked to figure out the same sort of things that we all figured out 4 years ago. I don't remember how. To do the same thing over and over again, however, and to expect to turn out carbon copies would be deluded. None of us work like computers, running programs such as think, or do, or have insight now on command. If we really succeeded in reproducing one type of success again and again for the rest of our lives, there would be no point in pushing forward and life would stagnate. What is worth trying to replicate is not a particular thing, but that elusive feeling of reaching something new, a feeling inspired or excited or full of energy. It is very hard to force that feeling out, sometimes completely impossible. We relish the moments when we do find it, but also search for inspiration and energy and excitement through different paths than we found the first time. Commonwealth close reading pays special attention to the different layers of meaning that can come out of a single phrase or word, which I have found extremely helpful in learning to look at everything from different angles, whether literature or life. I remember the time that Larry told me not to draw a shadow on the model's torso, explaining that he knew it was there and that I knew it was there, but that the best way to capture the feeling of the pose was to ignore it. Over the last 4 years, I've tried to take Larry's advice to work on my own style of seeing and drawing a model. But this January, 5 of us from Commonwealth spent a project week drawing or painting the model Natalia, and while each picture was recognizably Natalia in her graceful reclining pose, we all ended up with images that couldn't have been more unlike each other. The palettes we chose ranged from bright, contrasting colors to soft pinks. The backgrounds we chose ranged from cushions to an imagined outdoor scene, the techniques from long, bold brush strokes to fine dabs with palette knives. Some of the pictures were vertical, some horizontal, and the expression on Natalia's face was just somehow different in each. Over the last 4 years, it has been really amazing to see the variety of angles from which all of my classmates see the exact same world. It has been inspiring to see the different ways that inspiration hits Commonwealthers, and what that elusive energy produces, and how it connects us to each other. When I was hiding in the Commonwealth school bathroom, I did not have a connection to anyone in the school. I did not know that, when sick in Peru during the summer Spanish trip, my friends would spoon-feed me mashed potatoes in a restaurant making airplane noises. I could not have pictured sitting around the Hancock campfire burning marshmallows with my friends, or funny announcements at recess, or when we scared Green Line passengers by laughing so much after 12th night, or taking long walks around Boston with other students and teachers. There's no way to replicate the last 4 years anywhere else. I'll take the leap to say that it will work out, and that we will all find things that inspire us, and that there's no way of saying how.